Okay, all you YouTube devils, how you doing out there? We're going to take a quick look here at the Nasdaq. Now, this will be kind of overview, as I've mentioned in the last videos, we're changing the format here. There's something here I want to share with you regarding kind of a personality characteristic of the Nasdaq. If you're interested in a deeper dive, I'll just remind you here, I'm not going to dwell on this, and there is no... I'm not going to do anything sneaky here. I'm not going to cut the video halfway. We can only do that once, right? Anyway, so just a reminder, you can join us for free, right? That gives you access to our community. You'll get the deep dives in crypto, but you'll also get access to the white belt. So if you're interested, you're stuck at home, you're looking to focus, sharpen up your trading skills, that white belt's a good place to start, and you get an idea for our teaching approach, some of the things that we do. Okay, so that link is directly underneath the video. I had some people ask me, where's the link? Literally, this is the first line in the description of the video, and then of course it's just tradedevils.com. We have three choices here, whatever's good for you. All right, so with that said, let's move on over here to the Nasdaq. So I'm just going all the way back here. This is the the 09 low. So what do we have here? We have the longest bull market in history. So as we start this, now this is an 11-year rally, and we've had 1 month down. Right? So. And we can probably all agree that it's unlikely to do another one of these, as it did here. Now, could we be done with something here? Well, maybe, but that's just what I want to show you. Right? So if you want to, again, if you want to get into the detailed counts, right, that's all over on the site. Again, you can come on over and join us. But this is what I want you to show. Now, what I wanted to show you. Now, markets, if you specialize, there are a lot of traders, they'll have one market that's their specialty, right? And they really get to know that market, how it responds, how the other traders in there react. It's just, there's a real advantage to focusing on certain markets to develop that intimacy with how it trades. The Nasdaq has one particular characteristic here, and I'm going to demonstrate it to you. I'm going to show it to you here. I'll let you draw your own conclusions. If nothing else, perhaps this is just something that will help you in the next time that you're considering putting on a trade in the NQ. So it's some that are well known, like, so for example, the euro is, for, I can't tell you why, but for some reason, the euro is incredibly responsive at the 786 and the 1272. Right? If you specialize in that market, you see it all the time. It's over and over and over again. So that's something that if I were trading, it would be in the 6E that I've just learned over time, and I've just recognized that that's often where I see reactions in the market for entries or exits. Well, the Nasdaq has its own little tell. So let me show this to you. But I'm gonna go all the way back here to the move here. Let me take this off to this pivot here. So this is right. These are the Trump years. So this is there's the election in January, and then we get the big pump. Well, so from the last pivot here to this pivot here. Well, let's just take a look at it. Okay, so from that low to that pivot, I get right on it. Okay, so what do we see? All right, so from this low, here's our double top here. We come down 50 to the tick. Now we go up, we get to and through target. We sort of end up here in no man's land. I hadn't even checked the alternate price projection here. If we got, I think that was right. So look at that. So we go from the 50 to the hundreds, and that's kind of a personality characteristic. So if it's responding so for example, the S&P much more responsive at the golden zone and the 1618. So here it's the 50 going to the 100. Again, I can't explain this. It could be just the way the algos are written in here, but the 50 is something to pay attention to. And so if we pivot at the 50, not surprising that we get our pivot up here at the 100. All right, so let's just stay with that. So we know this was a technical pivot. Well, what's interesting here, if I just carry this up to our all-time high, what do I get here? Right now, sure, we've got a wick that's gone through it, but the real support here, we end up seeing, well, certainly we don't make golden zone. So we get support here kicks in at the 50. All right, so you look at that, there's actually one more little one in here. If we go from this pivot to this pivot, we come to the 50. Here's the reaction at the target. That gets just shy of third target. It's very responsive at the 50. You say, okay, well, that's cool. All right, that's a couple of them on the way up. Okay, big whoop. All right, what else? Right? Is that enough for me to start building some trading ideas around it? Well, slow down. Okay, let's go down to the sell-off here. We'll just focus here. There's a 1 hour, so working from the pivot high, all right, to the pivot low. Again, there's a wick that gets through it, but here's where we respond, right? It's right here is where we get our reaction. So again, it's another 50. Now this, hard to call that, or it could be a front run. That's a bit far for a front run, but certainly we end up clearing it here. But there's some more activity going in here. We did a detailed count for the members over on the site. Right? If you want to get that, you have to come over and join us. Again, it's free to join. So there's a 50, and you go, okay, all right, fancy. So I just look here. I can kind of go, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like that's a 5 of some sort. Now let's get that. I'll take it down to micro, put it in white so we can see it. So okay, there's some sort of internal. There's an impulse that's internal in the midst of that. Okay, interesting. Well, let's check the 2 to the 4. Well, from the proposed internal 2 to that pivot low of the 3, what do we do? Right, from the 2 to the 3, 50 to the tick. Down, right, likely there's your front run on the target. We get a little reaction, but this gets, well, ultimately it gets the third target. You're like, okay, all right, so I know that that's 5 in a row, but I'm not convinced yet. Okay, well, if we've completed something here, well, we started it right here. So on a larger degree, if that were 1, 2, and that's the 3, well, we'd want to, let me get that out of here. We'd want to check from this pivot to the proposed 4. So if I go to that pivot, and then I go to this pivot, what do we do? All right, so down, back up, 50 to the tick. Notice Vegas wave also right there. Now, unrealized. Right, so interesting. Right now we're having one of the biggest days in history today. The Fed has just gone nuclear on this with unlimited QE. Incredible, right? So we've never seen anything like this. So nobody really knows how this is going to end. But so you look and you go, okay, well, there's another 50, but target's not hit. Right, so this remains an algo that's still in play. So we come here. Now we could go all the way up here because we know they'll defend here. I'm not counting on that, but we could. The target wouldn't change. Right? That's the point I'm trying to make. Well, you look in here and go, all right, that's okay. All right, so that was 6 in a row. What else you got? All right, so there. I would certainly, you want to be checking these. So that one, so this one we get, so if I go here to here, well, there's the 50, again, same thing. So the 50s are being unrealized. So this big move down here, so then I start looking, okay, there's the pivot low. I've got I can use several different pivots here, and I'm unrealized on the targets. So if this is going to start to change trend, we're going to need to break these one at a time. We got to break those golden zones. So we got to break that one. As soon as you break that one, you got to go back one. Then you got to go back one. Then you got to go to all the way to the top. So we can't really make any deductions about trend reversal. Well, next up, and then just look at this sitting here. We got all of this sitting right there at that 50. So if we're coming back to that 50, if we're going to get something massive, well, something will need. Now, if this starts to retrace, you going to pay attention to that 50? Oh, I know I am. So let's just draw it up. So from the low, and if this market's just about to close, are we about to close? Yeah, we're about to close. So if we're going to come down here and retrace, we're going to come back down. Right, well, that sure is going to get my attention. So with that there as potentially the entry here, and that is as the target, well, I'm going to want to look for any confluence here. There's the secondary 50. Right, that one, this was not used because the depth of the retracement, you can tell that they didn't use that. But something like this, so that's kind of interesting. So now we look golden zone here. So we've hit the 50, retrace. If we're going to sell off, if we're going to be weak tonight, we're going to get a little profit taking, and we're going to do this, well, look where that 50 is pointing to that target, right into the golden zone. Now, we haven't seen a single golden zone throughout the entire move. So that's my point in trying to show you there's this little personality. It's a bit of a tell in the NQ. It likes to respond at the 50s. I can't tell you why. I can just tell you that from trading it and having done this for a long time, that's just a little bit of a personality tell in the NQ. So I'd be paying attention to that 50, and well, certainly we've already had the reaction here at this 50. That seems to be what's going to be the resistance for the day. Now, if we soften up, I sure want to be paying attention at that 50. I'm not saying we've got a trend change. I'm just saying pay attention here. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you here, is just kind of looking for those personality traits of certain markets. If you can develop them, you see it over and over and over again. So as I just showed you, the S&P is golden zone, golden zone, golden zone, right? It's unbelievably consistent at the golden zone. At Nasdaq, right? So if you start looking for all the reactions at the golden zone, you're going to miss 90% of the trades because it's so responsive at the 50s. So just a little something to share with you here. And I had this conversation with the members. If nothing else, if all of this volatility has done nothing else to the trader's mentality and psyche, what I'm hoping is that you guys, because I can say it to you, but ultimately, I try and teach, but ultimately the market is your teacher, right? The hard lessons you're going to learn, the market is going to teach you. Now, one of the things that this volatility, I hope people are getting a sense of this. If nothing else, I hope it's reinforcing the deep respect you have to have for how quickly the market can take from you. I've said this many times in many videos before, but the market, it gives reluctantly, it takes aggressively. So you have to maintain, it's not a fear of the market, but a healthy dose of respect for how quickly the market can take from you. And you're seeing that, right? Everybody's experiencing that. Certainly people that have got their money tied up in 401ks, and you name your passive investment vehicle, however your money's being managed, for those that aren't actively trading it, this is a real shock to them as to how, well, wait a minute, 30 days ago I was looking great, now not so good. It's just, you have to respect how aggressively it can take from you, and it's a very hard thing to describe. But I can tell you this, is if you ever find you have lost that respect for how quickly the market can take from you, or you get a little arrogant, maybe you get on a winning streak, boy, the second you start feeling a little cocky with the market, boy, that is the time to switch to a paper trading or a sim account, or reduce the volume, because the market has an unbelievable ability to want to set you straight. It will slap you so hard to just remind you of how quickly it can take from you. If you get that sense of arrogance, I promise you something ugly is coming your way. Something wicked this way will come if you lose that respect for how quickly the market can take from you. So it's, again, you don't want to be fearful of it. You just want to have a healthy respect for it. And if nothing else, maybe that's the silver lining in this, is how quickly we can go from all-time highs, greatest stock market ever, not to be quoting anyone in power, but that's how quickly things can change. All right, guys, so there you go. Again, I remind you, all this, you join us for free. You want to get on the live streams. We're doing those now 3 times a week. You join in social. You want to get into the belt system. Or you're not sure. Maybe you're thinking about the belt system. Well, why don't you join for free? You can get started with the white belt. That can give you a little taste of it. And you say, I'm kind of like what they're doing over there. I'm kind of learning a lot. Well, then maybe make a decision as to whether you want to go into blue or purple, right? They get progressively harder. Listen, white is no cakewalk to get through. You're going to have to study for it, right? We do that deliberately. The goal is not to make it easy to just fly through. So look at me, I got my black belt. No. That's not what we're about. We're going to challenge you all the way, and it gets progressively harder. So if you're up for the challenge, here's the place to go. If you want to just step into it, well, why don't you start with a white belt? You start here. So think of it this way. If you wanted to come in and say, man, I'm into it. I got time at home. I want to study. I want to really work on my skills. I'm going to jump into the belt system. Well, you can do that here with educational. Right? You can jump in. You'll get access to everything. That's the hook here, right? You're going to get, if you go educational, you got access to everything. If you go free, well, you got deep dive access to crypto. You get a few, there's some value, but the big value in the free is you get the white belt. You're not ready for the belt system? Well, then you go social. You got access to all the live streams. You get access to the deep dives that are beyond just crypto, right? Free, it's just crypto, right? We're doing every asset class. So choose your trading plan, whatever's appropriate for you. I know people are cautious, but we've got a plan to fit any budget. There you go, guys. Okay. Stay safe out there. Okay.